Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we are taking a close look at a giant of Indian industry, Mahindra and Mahindra Limited, or M&M.
That's right. Mandem is a fascinating conglomerate part of the Mahindra Group. Most people know them for their SUVs and tractors, but they're also heavily involved in financial services through Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services, IT, via Tech Mahindra, hospitality, logistics, and much more. They operate under that RISE philosophy we often see.
Exactly. And they've just released their audited financial results for the fourth quarter and the full financial year ended March 31, 2025. The board approved these results on May 5, 2025. We've got both standalone and consolidated numbers to dig into, so let's get started. Kick us off with the headline numbers on the consolidated front for Q4. How did they do compared to last year?
Okay, starting with the consolidated results for Q4 FY25. Revenue from operations came in strong at 42,599 crore rupees. That's a solid 20% increase compared to the 35,452 crore rupees they reported in Q4 FY24. So good year-over-year growth on the top line.
A 20% jump year-over-year is definitely strong. How does that compare sequentially, looking at Q4 versus Q3 of FY25?
Good question. Quarter over quarter, the revenue growth was more moderate. Compared to Q3 FY25's 41,470 crore rupees, the Q4 revenue of 42,599 crore rupees represents an increase of about 2.7%. So continued growth, but at a slower pace sequentially.
Alright, revenue looks healthy year-over-year. Let's move down the line. What about profitability? Can we talk about EBITDA or profit before tax PBT?
The detailed statements focus on PBT. For Q4 FY25, consolidated profit before tax stood at 4,626.80 crore rupees. This is a significant 15% increase year-over-year from the 4,030 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
15% PBT growth year-over-year, nice. And the sequential quarter-over-quarter picture for PBT?
Sequentially, it's a different story. The Q4 PBT of 4,626.80 crore rupees is actually down about 9.1% compared to the 5,091.99 crore rupees reported in Q3 FY25. So a dip in profitability quarter over quarter despite the slight revenue increase.
Okay. Lower PBT sequentially. How did that translate to the bottom line, the profit after tax, or PAT, attributable to the owners of the company? Let's look at year-over-year first for Q4.
Consolidated PAT attributable to owners for Q4 FY25 was 3,295.17 crore rupees. That's up a strong 20% year-over-year compared to 2,754.08 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. This matches the growth seen in the press release highlights.
20% growth in consolidated PAT year-over-year, mirroring the revenue growth percentage. Interesting. And quarter-over-quarter for PAT? Did it follow the PBT dip or buck the trend?
Interestingly, PAT actually saw a slight increase quarter over quarter. The Q4 PAT of 3,295.17 crore rupees is up about 3.6% from the 3,180.58 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. This suggests factors like tax expenses or contributions from associates might have played a role in cushioning the PBT decline sequentially.
Okay, so Q4 showed strong year-over-year growth in revenue and profit, but a mixed picture sequentially, with revenue up slightly, PBT down, and PAT slightly up. Now what about the full year FY25 on a consolidated basis?
For the full financial year FY25, consolidated revenue from operations reached 1,59,211 crore rupees. That's a 14% increase compared to the 1,39,078 crore rupees in FY24. Consolidated PBT for FY25 was 19,079.62 crore rupees, up 19% from 15,977.79 crore rupees in FY24. And the consolidated PAT attributable to owners for FY25 stood at 12,929.10 crore rupees, a 15% increase from 11,268.64 crore rupees the previous year. The press release mentioned a 20% PAT growth excluding the impact of KG Mobility, so that's worth noting.
Solid double-digit growth across the board for the full year, and the earnings per share or EPS for both Q4 and the full year on a consolidated basis?
For Q4 FY25, The basic EPS was 29.52 rupees, up from 24.71 rupees in Q4 FY24, but slightly down from 28.51 rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, basic EPS came in at 115.91 rupees, a healthy increase from 101.14 rupees in FY24.
Got it. Any significant other income boosting these numbers?
Yes, other income was noticeable. Consolidated other income for Q4 was about 702 crore rupees, and for the full year it was around 2,181 crore rupees. This is slightly higher than the previous year, but contributes meaningfully to the overall profit picture.
Okay, that covers the consolidated view. Let's switch gears to the standalone results of Mahindra and Mahindra Limited itself. How did the parent company perform in Q4 year over year?
Looking at the standalone results for Q4 FY25, revenue from operations was 31,608.67 crore rupees. That's a significant 24% jump compared to the 25,433.77 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Remember, the previous year's figures are restated for the effects of mergers like Mahindra Heavy Engines, Mahindra Two-Wheelers and Tringo.com.
24% standalone revenue growth year over year in Q4. What about quarter over quarter for standalone revenue?
Sequentially, standalone revenue in Q4 saw a modest increase of about 2.1% compared to the 30,963.76 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
Similar sequential pattern to the consolidated side. Now, standalone profitability for Q4, PBT first, year over year.
Standalone PBT for Q4 FY25 was 3,345.02 crore rupees. This is a strong 27.5% increase year over year from 2,624.36 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Strong PBT growth there. And sequentially, Q4 versus Q3 on standalone PBT?
Sequentially, standalone PBT saw a significant drop. It was down about 15.7% from the 3,967.90 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. It's important to note here, the company mentioned a one-time impact of 654 crore rupees in the Q4 standalone results related to Farm International strategic pivots. That likely explains a large part of this sequential PBT decline.
That one-time impact is crucial context for the sequential standalone PBT drop. Okay, and the standalone profit after tax, PAT, for Q4? Year over year first.
Standalone PAT for Q4 FY25 came in at 2,437.14 crore rupees. That's a solid 22% increase compared to the 2,000.07 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Good year over year growth. And sequentially for standalone PAT in Q4, down like PBT?
Yes, following the PBT trend and likely influenced by that one-time farm impact, standalone PAT was down about 17.8% quarter over quarter from the 2,964.31 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
Right? So, strong year over year standalone growth in Q4 but a sequential dip in profitability largely due to that one-time farm impact. What about the full year standalone picture for FY25?
For the full year FY25, standalone revenue was 1,18,624.53 crore rupees, up 17% year over year. Standalone PBT was 15,650.12 crore rupees, up 16% year over year. And standalone PAT for FY25 stood at 11,854.96 crore rupees, which is an 11% increase compared to FY24. The press release mentioned a 17% standalone PAT growth excluding the KG Mobility impact.
Okay, consistent growth themes on the standalone side for the full year as well. And the standalone EPS?
Standalone basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 20.30 rupees, up from 16.68 rupees year over year, but down from 24.70 rupees quarter over quarter. For the full year FY25, standalone basic EPS was 98.80 rupees, up from 88.79 rupees in FY24.
Let's talk margins. The press release highlighted margin improvements. What do the numbers tell us about profitability on both consolidated and standalone levels?
The results do indicate healthy profitability. The consolidated PAT margin for FY25 was around 8.1%, similar to FY24. The standalone PAT margin for FY25 was just under 10%, slightly down from about 10.5% in FY24, likely reflecting that farm segment impact and maybe mixed changes. However, the press release emphasizes improvements in PBIT margins for the core auto and farm segments on a standalone basis. Auto PBIT margin up 110 basis points and core tractor PBIT margins up 200 basis points for FY25, excluding specific items. That suggests strong operational performance in the core businesses.
That operational improvement is key. Were there any other significant exceptional items apart from that standalone farm impact we discussed?
That 654 crore rupees one-time impact towards Farm International in the Q4 FY25 standalone results seems to be the main flagged item. Its absence on the consolidated side suggests it might relate specifically to the parent company's international farm strategy adjustments rather than impacting subsidiaries significantly in the same way. Otherwise, the results seem relatively clean from major exceptional items on the consolidated front.
Let's touch upon the balance sheet. Any quick insights into assets or liabilities?
Looking at the year-end figures, consolidated total assets grew to about 2,77,586 crore rupees from 2,36,300 crore rupees at the end of FY24. Consolidated total liabilities also grew to 1,88,488 crore rupees from 1,58,791 crore rupees. Equity attributable to owners increased substantially as well, reflecting the profits. On the standalone side, total assets reached nearly 99,649 crore rupees, up from 83,708 crore rupees, while total liabilities were around 38,064 crore rupees, up from 31,417 crore rupees. The growth reflects business expansion and retained earnings. The separate filing on borrowings shows outstanding qualified long-term borrowings at the end of FY25 were around 1,135 crore rupees, down from 1,235 crore rupees at the start of the year.
What about cash flow and dividends?
The consolidated cash flow statement shows positive cash flow from operating activities for FY25 at about 3,176 crore rupees, a significant improvement from the negative 5,630 crore rupees in FY24. Investing activities saw a net outflow of 18,626 crore rupees, larger than the previous year, likely due to higher investments. Financing activities saw a net inflow of 15,834 crore rupees, mainly from borrowings, compared to an inflow of 12,281 crore rupees last year. Importantly, the board has recommended a dividend of 25.3 rupees per share, which is a 20% increase from the previous year.
A 20% dividend hike is a positive signal. Now the segments are crucial for a diversified company like M&M. How did the different business segments perform? Let's start with consolidated.
Alright, looking at the consolidated results for the full year FY25. The automotive segment really drove things, with revenue jumping to 90,825 crore from 76,156 crore last year. Their profit, the PBIT, also shot up to 7,797 crore from 6,057 crore, thanks to selling more SUVs and grabbing more market share. Farm equipment revenue was up a bit to 35,375 crore from 33,474 crore, but their profit improved nicely to 4,947 crore from 4,327 crore, even with slower revenue growth. Plus, they held on to their top spot in tractors with their best market share ever. Then you've got financial services, which brought in a solid 3,002 crore in PBIT. MMFSL grew assets under management by 17%, profit after tax was up 33%, and they kept bad loans under control below 4%. Tech Mahindra also did better, improving their EBIT margin by 3.6 percentage points for the year to 9.7%, and they landed some good deals. And the other growth gems chipped in too. Mahindra Lifespaces hit a record for gross development value acquisition at 18,000 crore, with home pre-sales up 20%. Mahindra Holidays added 10% more rooms, and Mahindra Logistics saw revenue grow. All told, the whole services segment pulled in 5,720 crore in PBIT for FY25.
Strong performance across the board, particularly auto and the key service businesses. How does the standalone segment picture compare, especially for auto and farm?
Now, looking just at the main company, the standalone results for FY25. automotive revenue climbed to 87,443 crore from 73,976 crore, and its profit, PBIT, really jumped to 8,277 crore from 6,378 crore. That makes sense with the sales growth and the 1.1% margin boost we talked about. Farm equipment revenue went up to 29,237 crore from 25,337 crore, and its PBIT saw a big increase to 5,371 crore from 4,116 crore, that's showing the 2% core margin improvement they mentioned. Then there's the investments part for auto, farm and others. This basically shows the money coming in or going out from their stakes in related companies. Those numbers can bounce around depending on dividends or write-offs, like that Farm International hit we saw in the Q4 standalone numbers.
It seems the core standalone auto and farm operations are performing very well on the profitability front. So summarizing the overall performance and management commentary,
the overall performance for FY25 is strong, characterized by record consolidated profits, sustained market leadership in key areas like SUVs and tractors, robust growth in financial services, and improving performance at Tech Mahindra. Management commentary is very positive, highlighting stellar execution, capital allocation discipline, market share gains, margin expansion, and strong cash generation, nearly 10,000 crore rupees. They've also emphasized sharpening focus in international farm geographies.
Any other significant notes or events from the filings we should cover?
Yes, a few things. The dividend of 25.3 rupees per share has a record date of July 4, 2025, and will be paid after the AGM on July 31st. The AGM itself will be held virtually on July 31st, 2025. Shareholders' approval is being sought for several items, including Mr. Anand Mahindra's remuneration, reappointment of independent directors Ms. Nisaba Godrej and Mr. Muthia Murugappan, appointment of M. Second Parikh and Associates as secretarial auditors, and material-related party transactions. Also, the financials reflect the impact of mergers effective April 1, 2023, MHEL, MTWL, TCL, and other corporate actions like the demerger impacting MLMML volumes shown separately, and sales by MEAL, Mahindra Electric Automobile Limited.
Crucially, what about the auditor's report? Any red flags there for either standalone or consolidated results?
This is a key positive. The statutory auditors BSR and Company LLP have issued unmodified opinions on both the standalone and consolidated financial results for the year ended March 31, 2025. This means they found the financial statements to give a true and fair view in accordance with accounting standards. The company also provided a separate declaration confirming these unmodified opinions. For the consolidated report, the auditors do mention their reliance on the work of other auditors for numerous subsidiaries, associates, and joint ventures, which is standard practice for a large conglomerate. They also note that the Q4 figures are balancing figures between the full-year audited results and the 9-month reviewed figures, and highlight the restatement of comparative figures due to the mergers. But the key takeaways: clean, unmodified opinions across the board.
Unmodified opinions are definitely what investors like to see. So bringing it all together, what's the outlook for Mahindra & Mahindra based on these results? And the usual disclaimer, of course.
Disclaimer: we advise investors to check with certified experts before taking any investment decisions. The outlook appears positive. The company has demonstrated strong execution and financial discipline, leading to record profits and market share gains. The core auto and farm businesses are performing exceptionally well with margin improvements. Growth initiatives in services, particularly financial services, and the turnaround at TechM are contributing positively. Management's focus on capital allocation and cash generation is encouraging. Potential risks include cyclicality in the auto and tractor markets, competitive pressures, and economic headwinds. However, given the strong performance, market position, and positive management commentary, the outlook seems robust.
So to conclude, a very strong financial year for Mahindra & Mahindra, with record consolidated profits, leadership positions maintained or strengthened in auto and farm, healthy dividend growth, and clean auditor reports providing assurance on the numbers.
Absolutely. Strong performance across multiple businesses, margin improvements in core operations, and positive signals from management paint a confident picture for FY25, setting a high bar for FY26.
Great analysis. Thanks for breaking down those detailed numbers for us. And thank you all for tuning in. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more financial deep dives. We'll catch you on the next episode.